My parents decided when I was only around 7 years old, far too young to get an opinion on anything, to pack us up and move into an RV to travel around the US. My dad works online and my mom makes content online. She's not huge by any means, but big enough that we get recognized sometimes, and big enough that I've had a camera shoved in my face for as long as I can remember. For my privacy's sake, I won't say anything else on that, and I'm using a throwaway account because I've gotten enough attention already and I'm sick of it. I sleep in a tiny bunk bed that I outgrew years ago, and the other bunk is the only space I have to put anything I own. I don't even have a room, just a curtain, and thank God I'm an only child, or else I would have to share the small space I have already. I was homeschooled for most of my education and then switched to online school at my own insistence for high school. I'm an 18-year-old girl. I don't have a single friend in person because the longest I've ever stayed anywhere is a month. I don't have a job and no way to get one because of not being stationary unless I find one online, which also mean I have no way to move out and get away from them. I've had conversations with them about all of this countless times, and they are so delusional and genuinely believe that a nomadic existence is the best way to live, so why would I never need anything else? I hate them for treating me like some pet they can just drag along in their plans rather than their child. I hate traveling, I don't like heat, I hate dealing with bugs, and I'm so sick of hiking. I can't wait for the day that I finally figure out a way to get away from them with their morning's hikes and cameras in my face. I've traveled around the US, yeah, but God forbid I want to have a normal life, go to college, or maybe even make some friends? That's asking too much. Update 1, September 19, 2024. Hello. Barely over a week ago I made a post talking about my very negative experience living in an RV with my parents for around 10 years now. Despite it being such a short time since I've posted it, a lot has changed for me since then. I don't know how many people here would be interested in an update on my situation, but I know quite a few people were very concerned and would probably appreciate an update, so here it is. Also, fair warning, this is a fairly lengthy post. I have a tendency to ramble, so there is sort of a TLDR at the end. I had a lot of people give me really helpful advice, resources, as well as even offers to try to help personally, some being questionable admittedly, but a majority being genuinely concerned, wanting to try to help, and I very much appreciate that. It was slightly overwhelming, to be honest, and I ended up not responding to a lot of people, so you'll all have to forgive me for that. But even if I didn't respond much, I have been doing research on a lot of the information people gave me. Something that stood out to me was people asking if I had any family I could stay with, to which I had to respond, not that I know of, because I don't have anyone on my dad's side of the family, and my mom strictly no contact with her family. I did not know if they were alive, if they cut her off, if she cut them off, or even any details about them, and my mom had never wanted to talk about it. What information I did have was my mom's maiden name, which is pretty uncommon, and where she was born, which in terms of trying to find family can actually get you surprisingly far, I've come to realize. I've always had a slight hatred for the internet because I never had any choice in my life being public knowledge, and I know that once something is out there, it's out there, but for the first time I'm actually really grateful for the internet. I was able to find some information on my mother's side of the family, and specifically was able to find my grandma's Facebook account, though it did take me some effort. After a lot of stressing on how to approach messaging her, if I even should, as well as potential outcomes, I messaged her explaining my mom's life, who I was, and my situation. I won't go into details onto why my grandma and my mom are no contact, because that is not my story to share, but my grandma was appalled that she has a granddaughter she didn't even know about, and even more so the way in which her daughter raised me. I found out I have an aunt and an uncle, both of which my grandma told them about me and my situation. I've been in pretty much constant contact with all of them since just learning about each other. All of them want to help me get out of this living situation with my parents, and luckily with me being 18 now, it's actually possible. Again, I don't feel entirely comfortable going into details, but I have arrangements to go stay with my aunt who lives in a big city on the West Coast that had a lot of potential opportunities for me to start college or whatever I see fit, which I do plan on figuring out college, happy to announce. My uncle has kids, but my aunt lives on her own and has a spare bedroom which she has no problem letting me stay in for as long as necessary. I have a train ticket scheduled and purchased by my aunt, and enough money to get to the station. I'm talking with my family, still feels weird to type, currently, and trying to plan out the details, like how or if I'm going to tell my parents. My mom doesn't know any information on where any of her family lives, so even if I were to tell my parents who I'm going to live with, they wouldn't know where I was specifically. Someone pointed out that if I did leave without telling them, I should leave a note or some form of proof that I left willingly, so if I do opt out of a conversation, I'm planning on either leaving a note or filming a video explaining my plans and why I'm leaving, which would be kinda of ironic, wouldn't it? Regarding my mom filming, I've been very quiet around my parents and just refusing to talk when the camera is on, but neither one of them has mentioned it yet so far, luckily. Also, speaking of my mom's content, I would like to very much emphasize something quickly. Almost everyone was genuinely trying to help, but I had a few people replying trying to guess who I was. Luckily the few I saw were basically torn to shreds and ended up deleting their comments. I also had a few people who messaged me privately trying to make a guess at who I am, which at least that's not public, I guess. Although I can understand being curious, I posted anonymously with very little personal information for a reason. As I stated in my previous post, I have gotten enough attention and I'm very much sick of it. I would very much appreciate it if you guys can respect that. Even if you think you might know who I am, please don't make public guesses, and understand that I don't want this to be even more public information tied to my name. Very long story short, I have set plans to leave as well as a safe place to go with my aunt once I do, and very much appreciate so people for being so willing to help. If you had told me not even 2 weeks ago that not only do I have a plan to move away from my parents but contact with family members I didn't even know existed, I don't think I would have believed it. I'm currently not planning on making another post updating this, but wanted to let anyone who was concerned about me to not worry. Genuinely, thank you. Comments where Op has replied, commenter, be careful. You don't really know your mom's family. I know it seems like an out. Just be careful. Oop, I absolutely will be. Why my mom isn't in contact with them makes total sense, and none of it was their fault, plus they were able to send me evidence of that. But despite that, I definitely don't know them personally yet. My train out isn't scheduled immediately or anything, and I'm going to continue talking with them until then, but they do seem to be genuinely concerned and trustworthy. Plus my aunt who I'll be staying with seems super nice, and we have already figured out that we have certain things in common. To the same commenter a bit later, oop, oh I forgot to mention earlier, as I said in the post, I'm planning on going to college because that's a more obtainable option for me now. And I'm hoping to figure out living in dorms, so realistically I won't be staying with my aunt for that long once I work that out. Commenter, you can't really know they're being truthful. You should ask your mother why she stopped communicating with them without telling her you started, and get her side of the story. Oop, my mom like 100% refuses to talk about her family. That's the reason I didn't have any contact with them in the first place and didn't even know about my aunt and uncle. But I'm confident they are being truthful about it because I was literally shown proof, and some of it was literally court ordered. Commenter, I do not recommend making a video. Your parents will use it for content. Write a note at most. Keep it simple though. Oop, I realistically don't plan on filming a video. I think I was just feeling petty and upset thinking about it all, which just lead to thinking about drastic ideas of what I should do for telling my parents. Video definitely isn't a good idea if I don't just tell them myself. To a downvoted commenter. Oop, question, have you ever seen the Harry Potter movie scene where his room is the under the stairs and thought to yourself, wow, he actually has enough room to sit up in bed and a door? I have multiple times actually. I'm very willing to abandon them to not have to feel like that anymore. Update 2, November 25, 2024. Hello, it's been a while and I wanted to check in on here to hopefully give a few people some peace of mind. In my last update I explained that I had gotten in contact with my mother's side of the family and had a place to go stay. I can proudly announce that I did it and am in a safe place now, totally away from my parents with absolutely zero contact. My aunt is an absolute angel, truly. She's so kind, and that's not even including my grandma and uncle. When I first got here, my aunt as well as my grandma took me out on a little shopping spree, bought me clothes, decor and furniture for my room because I have one of those now, and honestly anything they thought I would need. My uncle has introduced me to my cousins. He has younger son and a daughter who's very close in age to me, and I would say that we have become friends. I've been able to go out and do a lot of fun little things with her. My aunt is currently helping me research colleges near us, but has reassured me I can do everything at my own pace and there really is no rush, that her home will always have a spot for me. My aunt in general is such a cool person. She's someone I very quickly have started to look up to and have gotten close to. The more time we spend together, the more we learn that we actually have a lot in common. I'm just so grateful to all of them for being here and being so supportive. My aunt is also really helping me figure out who I am as an individual. For the first time I'm in charge of my identity, what I share, and who I share it with. I dyed and cut my hair, got a nickname and have been exclusively going by it. My cousin is currently on journey to help me learn about what makeup I like. She's also introducing me to her favorite music groups as a self-proclaimed cringe but free K-pop fan. I have an entirely private Instagram account with all of 5 followers and I plan on keeping it that way. I just feel like a normal teenage girl for once and I've never felt happier. When I look in the mirror or just think about my life in general, I'm actually happy with it. I guess never realized that I wasn't comfortable in my identity as a person because honestly, I had bigger things to worry about. This is all more than I could have ever imagined, and honestly I have a hard time even processing it sometimes. I am officially in therapy though. So maybe I can start working that as well as processing my past, and how it plays into my identity in the future. My new therapist is actually the part of the reason I'm making this update. She thinks that posting this could be a good way to get closure to a certain extent. As sort of a way of acknowledging what I went through but also moving on into my new life because I have my whole future ahead of me, one that I am very excited to experience. So keeping that in mind, this will be my final update on here. I want to be able to enjoy my life in future while keeping my privacy. A lot of people really wanted me to share my story more, expose my past, but at least for now I've decided against that. It's my story and I can choose to share it or not. For once I have control over who gets to know what information about me, and I'm not willing to give that up yet, but I suppose I don't know what the future holds. So I'm asking as nicely as possible that people please respect that. I absolutely appreciate the support and advice so many have given me, and just know I'm safe. I can honestly say that I'm happy. I'm planning out my future, what I want to do with my life, and who I am beside just a persona on camera. So thank you so much for everything, and goodbye. Smile. Next story. Overheard my fiancé's childhood friend crying in the bathroom about how she always loved him and the wedding should have been hers at my bachelorette party. Hello, everyone. I, 23F, and my fiancé Elijah, 28M, are due to get married at the end of next month at our destination wedding. Last night was my bachelorette party and I invited my closest family and friends to come along with a few of my fiancé's family and his friend Cami, 27F. For some backstory, I and my fiancé met when I was 19 years old. Both of our fathers are business partners and have been friends since I was in high school. One night his family invited mine over for a party being held at their home, and that was the first time we met. I was attracted to him, but I knew he was older, so I didn't believe I had a chance. As the night progressed, he was hanging outside in his backyard alone smoking, and my sister dared me to go talk to him. So I did. And a year later we began a relationship. My fiancée and Cami have been friends since they were kids and their families are very close. She's always been extremely nice towards me and wanted to be best friends from the first time we met. I found it a bit odd only because she barely knew me, but I didn't think much of it because she had been dating my fiancé's best friend Antonio, 28 meters. We didn't become best friends because I already have a close friend group and I don't trust easily, but she's always been cool and never crossed any boundaries. Last summer my fiancé proposed to me on a trip to Belize. When the announcement was made, everyone sent their congratulatory praises to us but Cami. She sent a text the next day, to my fiancé only, not our friend group chat, saying she was happy for him. She was a bit standoffish to me since then, but again I never paid attention, really became I have my own friends in life. About 6 months ago Antonio and Cami broke up but never really stated the reason why, just that they want to go back to being friends and be happy with other people. Fast forward to last night, my bachelorette was in a suite, at a popular hotel here in Miami, where I live. Planned by my older sister and Eli's sister Ava, 26F. The night was amazing and I truly had the time of my life. We all were getting wasted and I decided to go to the bathroom, and when I got closer, I heard voices and whimpering like someone was crying. It was then I heard Cami telling Ava that this should be her and that she doesn't understand why he would want to be with someone like me, when it was always supposed to be them two together. That she always loved him. I sobered the hell up instantly. I might have to do a part 2. But guys tells me, would I be the asshole for disinviting her for my wedding, when it's a month away? Update, November 26, 2024. Wow. Thank you to everyone who has given me advice and reached out to me in my messages. You guys are amazing. For some clarification, I referred to Cami as my fiancé's best friend because I didn't know what else to call her. Maybe childhood friend? But they have never went out of their way to call each other that, but that's how I see them. Okay, now for the update. After I heard what was said, the old me started to revert back and I almost caused a scene, but I knew with my siblings, cousins, and friends all being there it would get out of control, and I still wanted to enjoy my night, but I did continue to listen. Some of you were wondering what Ava had to say about all of this. After Ava was able to calm Cami down, she explained to her that this was not the time and place and that Elijah would never forgive her if she ruined my bachelorette party. She also told her that she thinks that she should leave and get herself together. I was about to walk in now, at the same time they were walking out. I acted as if I didn't hear anything and asked if everything was okay. Cami just wiped her face looking down, stating that she wasn't feeling well and that she might have to cut the night short. I honestly didn't fight her on it and even walked her ass to the door because TF? After she left I pulled Ava to the side telling her that I heard everything. She apologized that I heard it and said that she would reach out to Eli to handle it, but I said no. Some of you also wanted to know why Cami said it should have been her. Did her and my ex have something going on before? I knew they hadn't but needed to be sure. So I asked if they had ever been together or dated. In response Ava said not that she was aware of, only that their moms would always joke around when they were teens saying that they could finally be related once Eli and Cami get married. She said that never happened because Eli was never into her. Cami is a gorgeous girl, but my fiancé does have a certain type, and it's not her. Respectfully, I wanted to ask more questions, but I thought I'd wait until I spoke with my fiancé for further answers. After that I continued the party, and even spoke with Eli quickly before bed. I posted on Reddit the next day after I had gotten home before I did anything drastic. My fiancé came home later that evening, and once he settled in and relaxed, I told him everything that happened. To say that he was irate is taking it lightly. He was absolutely furious. I asked if there was ever anything between them that I was never told about. I asked if they had ever been intimate and if she had ever confused her love for him before. He made it clear that there has never been anything but a friend's relationship in his eyes. He said that they had never had sex before but did kiss once back in high school playing bottle games with alcohol, but it was in a group and everyone kissed multiple people including Antonio. He said that she has never confessed her love for him and is confused because he's the one that played a role in Antonio and her dating. He wanted to call her right then and there, but I told him to calm down first because being upset would only make things worse. I want to say that my fiancé isn't mad that I heard it or is trying to hide anything. He's upset because he feels hurt and betrayed that she would do this to him and at my party, when we were all there to support me. My fiancé can get really protective of me at times. He doesn't like to hear anything negative. I did express to him that I feel uncomfortable with her going to our wedding now. I want people at our wedding who are genuinely happy and supportive of us. Tonight, he texted her saying that he needs to speak with her. She replied saying she will let him know when she's home. So we will see how tonight's conversation goes. He also invited Antonio over for dinner and will speak to him about what's going on because things feel off. A lot of you were also questioning hers and Antonio relationship and if she used him to make Eli jealous. So we will all be present when the conversation does happen, to see what she has to say for herself. Since Thanksgiving is in a few days, I will update you guys on how the conversation goes and if anything new comes to light. Just give me some time to get through this holiday. Also, I have a wedding dress fitting tomorrow. I'm so excited. I might make a collage and show you guys my reference photos. XOXO happy holidays. Comment where Op has replied, commenter 1, whatever happens, don't let it happen, and just be careful that this friend situation hurts the most beautiful moment of your life. You and your fiancé came from a long journey to get to this point, so enjoy and don't let her steal this from you. Oop, exactly. This is a happy moment for me and him. I will definitely enjoy.